Shabbat Shalom. In this week's Torah portion, we see how the prophet Balaam trying to curse Jewish people, and instead of the curses, the blessings comes out from his mouth. An interesting thing, one of the words that he says, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov. In other words, to say, how beautiful is the tent of your nation, the Jewish people. What was so beautiful about this tent? Why was he so impressed? The answer is that there are few ways how you could put the tents. One of the way when you transfer from place to place, you put your tent and the doors of the tents face each other. And there is no rules of modesty. Because when one guy comes out from this tent, he could see what's happening in this house. And same thing from this tent, could see what's happening in the other house. But the other way to put tents is side by side. And that way, this guy comes from here, this guy comes from here, and nobody sees what's happening in this tent. So, an interesting thing, we learn from this parsha that the modesty is very important. And every little thing of the modesty is important. Even little detail, the way that you put the tents, the doors, and when you put it, even when you are temporarily in certain settings, not even in a desert, they put it in a modest way. There is an interesting story that I've heard how one guy, a Jewish businessman, has a whole big company in Lakewood, New Jersey. And he made a rule in his company that people should not call each other by their first name. Because there's a lot of women and men working together, married women, married men, so it should not be that they're calling each other with their first name. Everybody call each other with their last names. So that way, there's like a certain level of distance and people would keep things modestly. You should not get into people's personal life. So one day, he was sitting at his work and he gets a phone call from his secretary. And she's asking, I got an email from you and you're asking me to transfer $70,000 to this and this company. Did you ask that? Did you make that request? And he said, no, I didn't. So they made a whole investigation, how and who, where and what, and they found the guy. There was one guy who hacked to his laptop. It was a pure fraud. He hacked to his laptop and he sent an email to his secretary saying, send $70,000 to this and this company. Guess what? They found the guy, they caught him, everything. Baruch Hashem, he saved $70,000. And then he asked a simple question. Every time when I tell you to send money to someone, I send you an email, you never call me back. Why all of a sudden now you call me back to find out if it's true or not? And she said, very simple. Every time when you email me, you refer to me with my last name. But this time you wrote my first name. You said, dear honey, please send so-and-so $70,000. And I thought, you never called me by first name. So that was my, that's how I found out that it was something fishy here. Ladies and gentlemen, we see how it's important. Every little detail of modesty. It's so important. It's so important that he was able to save 70,000. And this is just one example. We live in a life of social medias where people post their personal lives, events, every single second, instantly, constantly. And every single event that happens, where they eat, how they eat, with whom they eat, and where they go, there is no personal life left. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, Hashem is telling us in this week's Torah portion that it's private. There is certain things that's private, that's only for you and your family. And that's what we're supposed to learn. It's not only for big things you have to be modest, but even for little things. Little tiny things, the way your doors are put, the way your tents are put, is important to think through. And even if it's in a temporary setting, let's say you're on vacation, it's important to think about modesty. And that's the source of many blessings. Shabbat Shalom.